Hi and welcome back to another video on the Budget Mini Clubman. So if you haven't caught up on the last video, go back because everything I'm going to say now won't make any sense to you. So in the last video we had two valances on the back. Someone had just slapped another one over the rusty one basically. Never seen that before. It's still baffling me right now, but nonetheless I'm actually not surprised. And a good point made by Dave Jaguar in one of the comments on that video was, if people didn't do these bodges at the end of the day to get them through the MOTs, we wouldn't actually have the cars today, or a lot of them anyway, because that prolonged them being on the road, that kept them going. So yeah, not strictly the right thing to do, but you can sort of get it in a weird roundabout sort of way. So nonetheless, if they hadn't done that to this car might have been condemned and might be no more. So I'm not knocking it, I've still got the car. Right, that being said, M-Machine have now got a panel order from me. We've got some panels for the Cooper that we're doing. If you haven't seen that video, I'll drop that into the end of the video. And we've also got a couple of little panels for the 89 build just to keep us ticking over on that one. Some inner door pockets and things like that, but that's another series. We'll leave that one there. But we have ordered for the Clubman. We've got a lower hinge panel and the two ends, so they're three panels which I don't know how they're going to go together. I've watched Upbuild, he's just literally done them, and they seem to go really well, so I'm quite positive after watching that it's going to go alright. So I've got those coming, and I've managed to get hold of basically a boot lip, so you can get a boot repair panel that goes along the edge. But it's not really good profile, and I know a lot of people don't really rate them, but I really only want the lip for the back of it, so I'm going to cut it down a little bit. Managed to get that off Facebook Marketplace really cheap. And what else have we got? No, that's everything. So we've got those three panels going from M-Machine, and then I managed to get that boot panel. And then what we have got obviously is already got the valance, so whole back end, all three skins, all three bits of that steel, that whole area around the bumper area should be brand new. Obviously once I get the invoice through, I'll add it to the total at the back. I'll flip you around in a minute and we'll show you where we're at. So I've updated the hours and things like that. So yeah, we are getting there. But in today's episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tackle the doorstep on the passenger side. So I'm jumping ahead of where I wanted to go, but I've got a few hours. I don't want to waste those few hours, so let's just get on with something. But first of all, let's have a look at this board. Right, so obviously that's going to change very slightly in the next sort of few days when they arrive. We're at 64 hours, so yeah, it's ticking along. So I'm now going to jump ahead and I'm going to cut the other doorstep off. We also got donated a doorstep at the beginning of this build. It's not a full bit, but it should be enough to sort it out. Yeah, and then it's a case of just cracking on with it really and seeing where we get on. Right, so the doorstep itself has been patched up. You can see it's had like repairs all over it. There's a bit of a hole there, so I might have to make a piece for that, because unfortunately the panel we've got doesn't actually cover what we want there. So obviously eliminate all of this, and it comes up to, you can see the mark I've just made there, comes up to there, so we're actually just going to get away with it. So what I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to cut that out and we'll mock up the new one. I did it on the other side, and that allows me to be able to cut out the bottom of the seal, obviously the outer seal, and it also managed to sort of pick away the inner seal and not worry about any structural movement, because if I put a solid doorstep back in, we've got almost that solid structure back. So yeah, not the best. Look at those repairs. This doorstep always was a little bit worse than the other side, so hopefully this panel here that's been donated, it sort of dust covers, so place it on top there. It's obviously been cut off from an end repair, but we don't need that, we need it from there where I've marked. Sorts out all of this, and it doesn't just quite come up to there. From memory, I never use this end of the Magnum panel. It's awful, the profile there. You can already see how much thicker it is there, so I'll make a little piece out of this metal probably to go in there. So without further ado, let's get the old grinder out. Right, so there is what is underneath that doorstep. So we've got loads of flaky paint. We've got bits of rust that I think were attached to the doorstep at some point. All that's pretty solid, pretty happy with that. Obviously this is the original seal again to the car. The floor pan's going, so we've got another one, another £10 floor pan. So I'm not worried about that because it comes with this section here, so I could chop all that out, but I wanted to put doorstep in first, like I mentioned. All of this, I've just had a bit of a look. It's quite solid underneath, so what I'll do is I'll repair this piece once this new section's in. So looking at this, you can see they've just welded over the rust. And there's another repair. Where's the other repair? Oh, right where my finger is. You can see that one again, look. Just bridged over the rust. So that's obviously going to go in the bin, and this one will more than enough to sort the issue out. So obviously needs cutting down. But yeah, looking in there, you can see the welding wire from the patch they put in the seal. So all of this needs taken out and yeah, sorting out properly. Right, so I've got basically all of the inner seal trimmed back. We will try and retain as much as this side of the inner seal as possible, but obviously that is quite bad and has like an inner repair under here, and all of that's going. So I won't be welding this new panel to that at all. Just get rid of it. There was a little dodgy repair here which I've cut out. Try to make a little piece back in before putting this on. So the biggest problem I've got right now is I've trimmed this back. I've obviously got these, which are the ends. Never throw these away because the profile on that saves you making something. So I always keep all the little bits and bobs I cut off. So this one going in now, I'm quite happy with the fitment down that end, because if you've ever restored a Mini, or any car really, but mainly this section of a Mini, they actually curve. Though a lot of people don't realise, but the Mini curves. So the profile there is actually smaller than the profile this end. So this is the same profile the way along, which is dreadful really. So it fits really nice there at that end, but you can see how much that sticks out. So, you know, just to put it in perspective, that's where it should sit, and I can get that. You know, this curve needs to go like that, come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a relief in the panel there, just so I can tap it back. Obviously I need filler anyway, but I want to be able to just keep that curve in with the car. So I'm going to cut a little relief, and obviously I'll have to weld that back up, and then just tap it in and see where we get. So yeah, that's the next point of call. But I mean, just seeing a bit of fresh metal in there again obviously looks good, but this needs to definitely come back quite a way. So as you can see, that's, you know, that's not right. But it's, again, it's a cheap panel, isn't it? So you've got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. So I'm going to cut relief in that, and then we'll see where we're at after that. And then we can look at getting this made up for a little bit of steel, weld that up, and then yeah, let's try and get this panel in today, hopefully. Right, so you see me cut that little relief cut in it there. So what I'm going to do is I've tacked it there, and I've tacked it down that end. Obviously that's all lined up there. I have actually off camera done the little repair here, so I put this section back in, you can see the new piece there. And I'm going to plug weld it from that side along there, and obviously we're not welding it to the floor because we're cutting that out. I'm not going to weld it to the sill because that's getting cut out. So I'm going to get this good and solid there, and then I'm going to tap this in. Pushing on it has made this come line sort of back up with that. So what I'll do is I'll stick you guys on a time lapse and you'll be able to see me do that, and hopefully it works. I've never done this before, but I've seen people cut relief cuts and things, and it definitely seems to work. Down there lines up pretty well, so I'm not too bothered by that. And then obviously at a later point we will make this little piece up here. Right, so there we have it. So obviously welded that in, it fits really nice there, so just sort of grind that back. And here's where I put the relief in, which has pulled this right in. So obviously then grind back the welds. That should all line up. Obviously you see the penetration from the plug welds on the other side. I've sanded this bit back here because that's where that sticker was, so you never leave your stickers on stuff. I'm going to clean all this back now, stick you guys back on a time lapse, clean it all back and then get in some primer. I have just test fitted the door, and I'll show you guys on camera. Even with that weld protruding, it's still got a really nice gap, or no different than it was before basically. So obviously it's tight here because well, the door's not even sat properly, it's only sat on a few bolts, but it's obviously got the weld there. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. Right guys, I think that's about all we've got time for tonight. We've got the door step in. Like I mentioned, I didn't mean to go to this point, but we're waiting for panels on the back, so why not crack on. Cutting the relief in this panel, it's gone pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a slight step there, but it's nothing a little bit of filler won't sort out. It's good and solid. This is all in. All of this has gone really well this end. They always fit quite well that end, but it's just there that I had to make a bit of a modification to the panel. I would recommend buying the panels because they do save you some money, and I think they teach you some skills. So once that's done, it's done. Do you know what I mean? It's job done in that respect. But this part of the floor is really good. We've got this part of the floor to do and the sill. And yeah, from looking at it, I don't think this side's going to be half as bad as the other side, which will be really good because once the back's done, this side's done, it'll be onto the front end. So yeah, I'm going to do the front end as the last sort of bits of the shell, and then do the doors, and yeah, we should be there, and then we can start prepping for paint. Speaking way out of terms here, but we're getting there. We've got to work towards something, haven't we? So yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. I'll chuck some pictures in at the end. We're losing the light, so I'm going to get a skimper filler on this, get some primer on it and get it all protected. And I'll catch you in the next one, which, like I mentioned, will be the back end hinge panel, which again is something I've never done, never had to replace them, so let's just learn together. I've watched Up Build, so I'm quite clued up now. I seem to think that they will go quite well together. You just got to take a bit of time with it. You've got to reshape a few things. And for me, it's obviously this car's on a budget, but the panels are there, they're good, they work. You've just got to wait and work. So let's crack on with that. That'll be the next point of call. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. There's so much coming in the next few weeks or months in this channel. We've got the Cooper, the 89, and Violet, my sidewalk, will come to the channel very, very soon. So you'll find out what's happening to her. And yeah, what I'll do is I'll leave you with some pictures at the end, and we'll move on to the back end, like I mentioned. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. We've got loads to do. The shell is getting very, very close to putting this front end on, and I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you for watching, guys. Catch you next one.